Mhm.
Hey, welcome to Nothing But Answers. Hey, welcome back, guys. We're going to talk about sex today. We're going to talk about sex. Okay, so get all the kids out of the room. Disclaimer: it's a grown and sexy. Get the little ones away because it can go left at any time. We never know. Okay, but first, let's start and introduce the panel. How you doing, Neil?
Neil's good, otherwise known as Ruth. She's doing all right, running around today, as usual for Grandma. But I made it. We're here. We're ready to talk about sex.
And what's up with you, Terrain? What's going on?
Hey, hey, all is well.
Hey, so how was your? And last but not least, you can't see them, but we have a voice of wisdom. Elle, what's going on?
What's happening?
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Doing wonderful. How's everybody's week?
Busy, but good.
I agree. Busy, but good.
Yep.
It's so crazy. It seems like we just logged off of the show and we're back here already again. So time flies. Busy week. Things are moving. So, but let's jump right into this. Doc is coming. She's running late. We will talk to her when she gets here. Okay. We're going to give her a talking to about being late. So let's jump right into it.
Let's skip over that part.
So we're going to talk about sex. Talk about sex, baby. We're going to talk about all the good things and the bad things.
And all the bad things that can
That
be.
Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex. Oh, we're not going to sing a little bit?
Let's talk about sex.
You understand?
Let's talk about.
See, we can get away with that because if we would have actually played the song, they would have strike. They would have took the video down.
Right.
So that's what we wanted to come in with. We wanted to come in with the song and have a little dance break and say, "Go, Neil."
That's okay. We can do our own.
Right,
We can improvise.
Right.
Don't encourage me.
Don't encourage you.
You know, this is my once a week party. You know that.
Once a week turn up.
This is the turn up.
It's the once a week turn up. So anyway, let's talk about sex. I mean, when we think about sex, we'll start the way. What do we think about when you heard the topic? Let's talk about sex. What did you guys? What first came to mind? Terrain.
Intimacy.
Mm.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very interesting. How about you, Neil?
I think I thought about connection, connection and affection. That's what I was thinking about.
L, do you have? What did you think when we're going to talk about sex? Uh oh. You hear that laugh?
Wow.
I thought about sex. I thought about doing the deed.
The thing, huh?
You know what I mean? Getting in there, humpty hump. Like, yeah.
Leanne was here with it.
I
That's
love
what
it.
I thought about.
She said, "Welcome to Pound Town."
Sex.
Wow. and when you think about sex, that's what you want to think about. But today we were kind of starting with, we were talking about some of the perils to having sex. Having sex, you should be responsible. It's a lot of responsibility. A lot of things can happen with it. And today it seems like STDs are on a rise. And some of the stuff we saw, we kind of see that STDs are on the rise. I guess people are going hatless, coatless. Oh baby, I like it raw. People are.
Oh, baby, I like it raw.
You understand me? The freedom. But L, what were some of these? Can you give us some information you had on some of these? What are the top 3 diseases contracted today due to sex?
Yeah, the top 3 is chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. They said since we came out of the pandemic, chlamydia is up 4%, gonorrhea is up 4%, and syphilis is actually up 32%. And
wow.
I'm guessing after the pandemic, everybody was like, "We out here."
Wait, ain't no guest. Ain't no guest. Okay. Hey guys. Someone said, "Hey guys," and again, we don't know who you are. I think it's a way you can go into the stream to say who you are. But that's actually Dr. Carissa. But so here we go. But this definitely. So after the pandemic, people were really out here just getting loose, just knocking each other down.
That's it.
Raw
They had to
dog.
make up for the time lost.
Right. So my first question would be: Did the pandemic make people stupid?
I think
No,
so.
people been stupid.
Well, that's true.
Well,
Yeah, it
obviously
activated it.
right. It definitely got activated because you figure before, after that, it definitely went up. So people were like, our life's on the line anyway. So I'm gonna wear this mask, but I'm gonna take this off. It's only one thing can be covered at a time. My mouth, one of those.
Right, top or bottom. That's it.
Right. So people, but I mean, so for dating right now, this must be a thing. So people must be meeting and just letting it go down. It's just letting it happen.
Are we even having conversations anymore about protection? And how do you broach that conversation about protection and whether or not to use it, whether or not, or even the conversation of, hey, have you had any sexual or STDs before?
All very good questions, but I really wonder
And then I
again
think
back to
people being honest in that moment.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna say don't, and I'm not speaking for all, but as a man, when the blood is not in the big brain, and you ask me a question, I might tell you anything. So don't ask me right before. Hey, you good? Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It begs the question, when should you start talking about protection?
When?
And
Well,
and these conversations probably should be happening before we get down to the deed.
well, I think we got to take it a step before that, because I may feel I'm good. I may really feel, because I don't have any symptoms. I ain't showing anything. The question is, when is the last time you got checked? Right? When's the last time you went and got checked, man or woman? We need to be asking each other these questions. If you're embarrassed to ask that question, you don't need to be having sex, in my opinion.
100%.
Better yet, let's go get checked together. Let's make it a mini date.
Oh no!
Think about it.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
People are not necessarily dating now. It's
Right.
like,
That's true.
especially, I think the other thing about it is I come across, because I'm in a salon, some women is like, I'm just living life. Like, I don't want no relationship. I just want to, so we are also in an era of people
You're right.
being comfortable with just having some jump offs, having momentary sex. And then we're also in the concept of, I have my rights to choose, am I, and then I think that because we're trying to get out of this, the name calling of women who are free with their sexuality and sensuality, they're liberating themselves, so it's like, how many, it's like, do I really want a relationship, or am I being free spirited to do what I want to do?
Right. We can do what men do. They don't know what dating is. I think you're right. I think the question right now is, what is dating? And I think you have to, when you're talking to people or getting involved with people, you might want to ask, what does dating look like?
So I just saw it was like a text message, and a guy had asked the girl, he said, I'm thinking about going to go get ice cream. And she said, her response was basically like, I don't think we align. I don't think we're looking for the same thing. I'm good on the ice cream. So that was like a conversation of, is that considered dating?
Right.
What is, like you said, what is what is dating? What are we doing here?
Right. And
My
that was a
I'm not
big,
going to go get ice
question.
cream on no first
Yeah,
date, and that's
I
just my
posted that in
personal
the
thing.
group.
I
Mhm.
can take my kid to get ice cream. I'm
Hey,
not going to
listen,
go get
so-
ice cream with a man.
We're not going.
Yep.
We're not going to deflect to that. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
about
that's
ice
another-
cream. I have some thoughts on people
Okay.
who don't like ice cream. Okay, but
And Daryl,
what we're
I
not
posted
gonna
that
do-
based on my
We're-
son saying that's what he just got a reaction to. So I posted it after he sent it to me.
Yeah, but it does show dating is very it's on two ends of the scale now, right? You like I said, that just shows someone wanted to do something that was kind and thoughtful and very intimate, and another person just wanted you to take them out and spend a whole bunch of money on them. I mean, it's very different. It's very different sides of the spectrum, but and I think that's same thing when it comes to sex. Like, boom, Ruth brought a good thing. Maybe we can go together, right?
Maybe, but
Maybe one of our because we should be dating. Well, not we should be, but once you start getting into sex, maybe you should think about yourself and your health and say, no, let me and this person go together and maybe get checked out. That might be cool. I mean,
listen, if they don't want to go for ice cream, they most likely are not going to want to go for this. Okay.
hey, Ruth, you know what I'm telling you? You know what? Hey, guys, if a girl goes get ice cream, she's a good girl. Okay.
Forget ice cream.
That's
Let's
the
go get
one.
tested. Come on.
Well, and that's what it's weird about.
How many times are we having these conversations leading up to it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that a lot of times when we get there, we just get there. It's spontaneous. It's not talked about. It's not pre-planned. It's kind of like, oh, we had Netflix and chills, or, oh, we were like in that moment. So I think that we're also in that space where people are not planning for it. It's just kind of like, let's do it. And it happens. So those conversations are not coming up because they're not pre-planned.
Yep.
Which is crazy because we all know we're going to have sex at some point, eventually.
Maybe not with that person, though.
Oh, no. What I'm saying, wait. No, what she's saying is that.
No, you know.
Yeah, once I got that number, once you said yes. Once you said yes, Leanne, once you said yes, and we got that number, I'm having sex. My goal was to have sex. I got your number because we're gonna have sex.
Wow.
Nobody got your number because they thought you were so beautiful and they wanted to be with you forever. So stop the lie. You know they got their number because they was like, I'm gonna knock that down.
No.
This is where what is dating anymore? And we have to
right. When do we get to that point? Just immediately, like in the first week,
right? First day that I see you,
right? You got my number, so I know I'm about to give it up. Like what?
That makes no sense.
Who made you think that you was good enough to get
everything except for sex? Though that's the crazy part.
With sex,
people will talk about everything except for sex.
Yeah.
How many kids you want? What type of relationship you're in? Or what type of religion are you? This, that, and the third. But nobody wanted to ask, hey, have you ever had an STD? Hey,
well, those are the sides of sex.
Get checked out.
Well,
you have a third ball that I don't know about?
I think.
No, it's just certain questions.
I do think people do talk about
sex,
it,
but not protection. They talking about positioning and
right,
you know what you into and the kinks and all of that stuff. They not talking about safety.
Right.
They talking about sex.
Right.
It's just that
we're
one
talking about it. Cause I'm gonna know what positions to bend you into. I'm gonna know I'm gonna know all that, right? I'm gonna know how like you like being choked a little bit or a lot. I'm gonna know all these questions. Okay,
That's terrible.
No, we're gonna know these things, right? But we're not talking about it in the sense of
well, I don't even know if people knowing that, because we know a majority of females don't even get a orgasm at the end of the deed. So
well, we do know
there got to be something.
But I will say
it's not being talked about.
No, well, first of all, just because you talk about it, don't mean we're going to do it.
To the left or to the right, the way they need to be.
We went on a real tangent right there. Real tangent.
Well, listen. Just because we talk about it, don't mean we're going to implement it the way you thought it was going to be, right? Right. Sometimes when you get on that,
you to take direction better. That's what I'm saying.
Well, this is the thing. We talk about it.
Don't listen. Men don't listen.
Well, no, we listen, but again,
No, you
when
don't.
we get in the moment, if you're not directing, you know what I mean, sometimes if you're not directing, tell me where to go, because I know where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to it's gonna happen for me, okay? It's gonna happen. Okay? It's not I'm just letting you know. For men, it's going to happen for the most part.
Okay, but
So,
what about her?
Her, or what I'm saying for her,
Or whatever.
you need to talk.
Yes.
You need to talk and really be able to tell whomever you're with how
Yes.
to make you get there, right? If I'm not
But-
doing something,
Are they
I think sometimes men know everything, and even when you communicate those things, it's still in their head that they're going to do it this way because clearly they know what you want. Okay,
really?
so I'm gonna do what I want because I know what you want. So
and that's
communication
I
don't always work like that.
and that's some truth to that, because I know
Mm-hmm.
in heterosexual relationships that may be the case, but if in some of the in relationships with women, say women on women, they're not having an issue. They're actually climaxing more. The rate of climax is a lot higher. Go ahead, I'm listening to Rain.
I am a
Stuttering, look,
preference.
stuttering, look.
You okay?
Get it out.
You're right over there.
I am a
we
woman
couldn't
of
see her, I would
preference.
be like, whoa, what you doing?
Go ahead, what are you saying, Rain?
Yeah, so
Take a drink of
I
water.
have played both fields respectfully
Mm.
and
Okay.
disrespectfully.
Uh-oh.
And
Talk about it.
where I think, honestly, for me, especially as I got older, it comes more with it becomes better with emotions. It becomes
Mhm.
better when you
Mhm.
are intimate with this person. And I don't care if it's male or female,
Mhm.
because
Okay.
it's like,
Okay.
oh, a woman knows what a woman wants. Lies. Don't let nobody tell you that, because it's a lie.
Uh-oh.
It's not
Okay.
true. Because
Okay.
Lies
again,
you tell.
you have to deal with the mentality of the person. You have to deal with, again, everybody has their own way of what pleasure is. So until
Right.
you become intimately involved with someone and you really become connected to them, you don't really know what pleases them. You're going to go off of what you think pleases them based on what you think pleases you. So
Okay.
until you become connected to a different level, I think male or female, you're not. I mean, some people are just good at certain things. Let's call it what it is, okay? Without connect.
Okay.
But I think,
Okay.
especially with
Well,
female relationships, is about. I think that it's more so. I'm gonna say with sex, period. With different people, you may enjoy different things about that person sexually. So one
Okay.
person may enjoy this, where this person with that person may enjoy that part of it because they're just good at this part. This person may be good at that part. So I don't, the female, I don't know about that.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm only going on some of the studies I've seen with in sex. Some of the the other type of relationships may have a higher rate of orgasming as opposed to heterosexual relationships.
I think a lot to do with that is women are naturally nurturers. We're naturally sensual. We're naturally certain ways. So not necessarily even dealing with sexuality, we're naturally caregivers. So I think that also comes into the bedroom as well.
Mhm.
So you're going to get different when you're with a female because the energy is going to be different just based on genetics.
Okay. Okay.
could you say that also in a heterosexual relationship, women have to deal with the male ego?
Mm.
So a lot of women wouldn't be comfortable saying certain things because they're afraid of what the feedback will be of their male counterpart.
Good point. Mm-hmm. I believe that.
So I would say, I guess ego is the male ego is a part of it. From
I'm sorry, I
I've
got
heard
kicked
that.
off. Can you repeat that? I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rianne, do it again.
In a heterosexual relationship, we have to deal with the male ego, and people will be less open to talk about certain things due to the male ego.
Yep.
I agree.
I don't want to say the fragility or fragileness, because I don't want to be accused of taking shots. But I'm just saying.
Hey, take your
Daryl's
shot.
going to accuse you anyway. So you're going to be accused anyway. I agree with that totally, though.
I think so. I don't know. So, do women have ego?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but not in certain situations like that, where I think the male ego takes over, even if she does.
I think it's also the way that you communicate. And this is where also for me, intimacy comes involved. Because if our agenda is only sexual pleasure, we're not really concerned about whether you get yours off. I'm really concerned about if I get mine off. So I think that when you're intimate with a person and emotions are involved, and you really have a genuine concern and a care for that person, you want to make sure that your person is also getting the things that they need from you.
I agree.
So I think that also depends on what is our agenda here. Are we here just to get this going, or are we really here with a purpose of both of us reaching euphoria, so to speak?
Gotcha. Someone wrote, somebody wrote me on the side, and they were talking about it. They kind of aligned with Terrain, and they were talking about no matter who's in the bedroom, it's more what they have, with the common interest that they have in the bedroom, which makes it better.
Agreed.
Right? If you guys kind of have the same, interest where you can get there, that makes sense too. Because if you guys are very different in what you want, that may be a problem. And
I think that
it's also interesting to be with somebody that's a little opposite, because you can learn some things. And also, I think that sometimes it becomes alluring to be with someone who may be into certain things that you're not necessarily open to, but gradually exposed to, and then it becomes a little more alluring to you. I think that sometimes, especially when dealing with sexuality, it's the forbidden, so to speak, and you get to act out or explore privately what you won't do publicly.
Okay.
Or what you wouldn't want to know publicly.
Okay. I agree with those points too. But I think what we hit on earlier, that connection for the intimacy, for the climax, for all of that, for me, there has to be more than a wham bam, let's go.
And that's, I think that's a big difference, because I'm gonna no matter if it's a wham bam or
that's clear. We know that's clear now. I got you on that.
Try to put that out there. So
I got you on that.
Men,
we got that.
Men and women. I think men and women are kind of different, and how, again, so men for the most part are
true, Daryl, but some women are okay with that, not having that connection. For me, I said personally.
No, I'm telling you, what I'm saying is I don't care about your connection. I'm going to finish.
I know you don't.
Be good.
That's been made very, very clear, and I'm okay with that. But I'm saying for me, there has to be more than the act. There has to be more.
I agree.
Well, I think, and Ruth, I don't. So what I'll say is this. So would that mean in the beginning, are you waiting? So would you have to wait to really feel a connection to take it to that level, or in the beginning it's not as good and it gets better as the relationship gets better and you get more connected to the person?
Good question. I think that for me, we have to build the connection in the beginning, which builds the sexual attachment for me. All these years, and I know I got married at 8 years old, as you say.
Yeah, I'm going to say that. Okay. I didn't want to say that. Come on, you can't really speak
but
to
all
this,
these, I'm going to say it for you. I'm going to take my power back. But all these years in, it gets even more intense. And people think this is like just talking out, the air. But if you really have love for that person and connection, and it's been building all these years, woo, explosive.
So, but again, how long? Wait, real fast. Wait, Terrain, 1 second. How long does it take to build that connection? Because we don't got all this time to wait to build this connection. Okay, I need to know about how long does it take.
How long it takes you personally, Daryl. But right, it took me a few months when we first started dating.
So it took
that
months.
Attachment, that feeling.
So it took months to get to the point where you guys did something?
Yes. Teray, take over because he not hearing me. He is not.
No, I hear you.
Also
I hear you. Go ahead, Terrain. I hear you. I just don't know how he lasted a month. Months.
Because he wanted the full package long term. The end. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
You better sell them. My other thing is learning yourself. Learning, and I think that's another thing that we're missing along the way is that we're not becoming intimate with ourselves.
I like
and that's understanding your body, is being able to understand what you like and what you don't like, and also being able to articulate it. Is also understanding you know, what gets you there, and being in the moment. How do I, if he is not responsible for me to get there, how do I make sure I get there? Because I'm responsible for reaching there for me.
Okay.
So I think that also comes along with your level of maturity within yourself and learning yourself and becoming one with yourself.
Right.
Like that.
And
it could be a brush. You can brush up against a man and they fine.
Yes.
With us, I think that it's so much deeper for women.
You say good morning. Good morning.
The wind blowing.
It is.
No, that's why I don't say good morning, because you're right. I don't even say it. Anything can trigger anything.
Well, again, because we're very different. You know, we're very different. So I guess, and we're gonna get back to diseases, but I think that this goes. We talked about somewhat because I think that this can be the problem with sex and men not knowing what women want, because in the beginning, while like in that exploration where you're getting to know yourself, if you're having sex, what are women doing it for early, right? In the beginning, where they're not getting to finish and they're not climaxing, but they're still doing it, and they're not letting us know that it's bad, and we think it's good, so we keep doing what we've been doing, and we're not changing. And in our minds, we're good because you ain't say we're bad because you like us, you let us do it, you know. So this is a problem, and we do need to know ourselves before we start doing these type of activities, because it would be more beneficial for both of us. And that's what I hear.
And that honest communication that might, hurt a few egos or just for a minute. But we got to talk about what worked and what did not work. And just because you're in a long-term relationship, we still need to keep talking about how to make it work better. Things get, as you said, stale crackers and old. We don't want that. No. So you have to even build up to that attachment and that connection in a long-term relationship, at least for me. Like start out the day with, what your thoughts are, what you want to do later. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, I mean,
I definitely agree with that.
It does.
I think when you talk about intimacy, that is another thing. Like, I think that because we are naturally like women, these are the things that are important to us. Intimacy starts outside of the bedroom. What did we do? Did you send me a card? Did you tell me you love me? Yes. Did you do something spontaneous? Did you read my love language? What are the things that you did to build up my energy that when we get in there, we like, oh, I'm about to perform. But also being in a long-term relationship, I think that it's also important to keep it spicy, keep it interesting, keep it relevant. And you can't just get comfortable and like, this is it. This is all missionary. We're done. So you have to continuously be able to grow individually and still learning things about yourself while learning your partner, and then being able to have conversations and bring it to the table and say, well, hey, I think I want to try this. So I think that being in a relationship is a responsibility, especially dealing with someone sexually. Not only that, going back to the diseases, you are trusting the person literally with your body and your life. So it's like, I trust you when it comes to infidelities. I trust that I can be comfortable with you and that I can be safe with you so that I can be more explorative with you, so to speak. But I think that this is where trust comes in, and communication and things of that nature. So I think that all of those things are very important in being in a relationship, or even if we're like, we just want jump offs. How transparent are we? If I have multiple partners, am I being honest with the other partners? Like, yes, I use protection with this person. No, I don't use protection with this person. Like giving people the option to choose whether or not this is the lifestyle that they want to enter into.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. Definitely, communication is very important. But I do think that, so now if we're not talking about the long-term relationships, in the beginning,
Yeah.
I do think, and I do hear this a lot, safety is an issue,
Mm-hmm.
right? As a man, I don't have as many fears going into it that I'm learning that women have, because it can go left for a woman very quickly. So I think that's a big part of sex as well, and especially in the beginning. Yes to all of that. Everything you said, Terrain, like all of it was.
All of it.
Yes, girl, yes.
That's right.
But we need to talk about safety as well, because in these situations, even if you talk about it, you still are entering into a room with someone else that if they're physically stronger or wherever the case may be. So safety is really important too, and that may be another reason. What I'm learning, a lot of women don't speak up due to that male ego that may be fragile if you say something, and it's why women don't speak up. Do you guys find that to be true?
I think
Yeah.
I think it's true. But here's my other thing. I think again, when you go into knowing yourself and being comfortable with yourself, there are also women who are in fear of losing that man because I spoke up. For fear, he's not going to like me or want to be intimate with me, or I may lose the chance to be with him because I said his sex was whack. So it's also being okay with being with yourself, and not just, intimately, privately dating yourself, being with yourself and understanding your worth and what you bring to the table. So I think that when you have these conversations, there are some women like, oh, well, let me not say nothing because I really like him and I don't want him to not be with me, so I'm gonna keep it to myself and act like I was pleased. Nope, not me.
Right. So that definitely happens. But what I'm talking about, sometimes, again, when you got to be careful. Cause I know a lot of women talk about being, if you say you're in that moment and you tell the man what he's doing is not right or whatever, he gets upset.
You mean physical safety is what you're saying, Darryl?
Yes, actual physical safety from harm.
Yeah, that's another
aspect. This is why it's tough to speak up, because that man could go. When I'm learning this now by talking to different people, that's a thing where a woman may be afraid to, especially in the beginning. I don't really know this person that well. I don't know how he's going to handle.
So why are you sleeping with them? Is my question. I just have that question.
Well, I mean,
and that
would be like but that would be anything, because we date people and then find out it's an abusive relationship. They weren't that way in the beginning. Something happened.
But it wouldn't be my fear going into it, though. Like that wouldn't be my fear if I never experienced any level of anything that triggered me. My first mentality would not be, if I tell him this, he would be upset, because that's not something that I'm carrying. It would have to have been something that presented itself for that now to become a fear as to why I'm not communicating.
I was thinking more.
I don't think that when you're going into it, you're not for me. I can say I think I have never been in a situation where I've been fearful of something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that fear level. Like, what established that fear level from the beginning? Why were you fearful? And yet you're intimate.
Well, but see, I think, and anecdotally, it might not make sense. But as talking to different women and getting these situations, we see and we hear these stories all the time. Right now, especially now, you're meeting people online and they seem like a good person. They seem and then something happens where it goes left. So I think that
but something presented itself.
No, wait, I'm saying, I don't know if it presented itself, but I think that anytime, especially in the beginning, when you don't really know a person well, like that, and again, people are having sex a lot sooner than they normally maybe would. So when you're having sex and the person seems nice, just because the person seems nice don't mean they're not psycho, right? so exactly. I think you should go in, I think you do go into it a little bit of like, and you like the person, but it could go left. You should always be aware of what's going on, So I think that it is a thing where people could be kind of fearful. And I'm not talking about a fear, but it's in the back of your mind. Just like going on a first date. Sometimes you don't get in that person's car. You may meet them there, right? So it's things you do. You build up, and then you build a certain trust. But still
don't get in people's car.
You ain't right. But sex still, the first time you do it, no matter when it is, the first time you do it, still the first time you did it. That's a different realm.
Yeah, it is. But there's also a timeline for, people have different timelines for building that trust and that safe feeling.
Again, I don't care when your timeline is, because people can wait. Because it's like there's people that I can wait for you for 3 or 4 months because I have somebody else to do it, so I'm good. But I was this is the first time we did it. This is the first time we did it. You know, that doesn't change. That's still the first time we're in an environment, in a room, in a house, and things are different. So that's.
So what do women do to safeguard that? Since that's a real fear, how do we safeguard ourselves from that?
Well, again, it's tough because again, I'm not as a woman. I can't really speak to what to do.
No, I meant from the man's perspective. Like, what do we need to think about differently going into that?
If it was your sister, what would you tell your sister?
What would I? Let's see. Hold on. So I wrote something. What did they write? I can't really see it because somebody write that because it's so small on my screen.
Okay. What they said? Yeah, that's true. They have different personalities in the bedroom or don't know enough about consent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this one?
Having upfront, detailed conversations about it. That's what they recommend. Okay.
And even doing that, people can change the contract. Like
they can.
I can sometimes say a lot of things to get you there.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say a lot of things to make you comfortable. I think that's almost this how it's supposed to go. I'm supposed to say things to make you feel comfortable enough to let me get it, right? When you're in there, what what happens when the girl or even a guy, whomever gets to the point where they're like, we want to stop, and things are happening. Is this person going to stop, or what if they want a type of sex that you don't want?
Right.
Are they going to stop doing it? Watching and driving.
To chime in. Somebody's watching and driving to chime in.
Gotcha. Again, what happens if the sex is changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if you did agree to something in the beginning?
True.
And all of a sudden, when you get there, you're like, no, I can't do it. It might have sounded more, or I'm not ready, I'm not comfortable enough. Is this person going to stop? What happens then?
Yeah.
Right? So yes, we talked about it. Yes, I was for it on the phone. Yes, I thought this was a good thing. But now I'm here, and you know what? I'm not ready. I'm not comfortable. Is that other person going to stop? Is that other person going to accept your no because you said yes before?
Good point.
So this is where I'm talking about. It can become dangerous for a lot of different reasons, even if you talked about it, right? So I definitely see.
Yep.
I definitely see women having some concerns, even about saying something, and that's why women may go through, or even men, or whomever is having sex, right? Because it's not just a man-woman thing, woman-woman thing, man-man thing. Someone can go through something. I mean, consent to something in the beginning. Even when you're starting to do it, you may consent to it, like yes. But that consent can go to no. I can withdraw my consent at any time. Right. Are you able to say, okay, I'm just gonna get up and I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna put this away. We'll put this thing away, and
hope. Yeah, stops. You would hope so, but there's no guarantee. You're right.
Right.
You're right.
So I don't think. Yeah. So I don't think.
Also,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I would say I don't think that there's any way. I just might say, go ahead. Go ahead, Tarant. Go ahead. I'm listening.
One's at the
it's also. I think that for me, for one, it starts at home. I think that the foundation is laid early on for you understanding communication, no means no, and things of that nature. For the women and the men to teach their children that no means no, and not saying that your children is always going to follow through with what you teach them, but I think it starts at home of having these hard conversations. So then when we get to these certain ages, that they understand that no really means no. I also think that communicating that with your daughters, that no means no, and also doing your homework and I think that there's no absolute to nothing, okay? But I also think that when you are being wise with making decisions of who you decide to lay with, you're educating yourself, you're spending time with this person, you're kind of gauging their personality and certain things. Again, there's no absolute and there's no guarantee that this will work, but I think it will also help filter out certain things and certain behaviors that you should be able to notice, or looking for what is called quote unquote red flags. Again, there's no absolute and there's no positive that this will always happen, but I think that we can't necessarily be like, oh, things happen. I think that you have to kind of safeguard and have these conversations, and again, loving on you. loving on you and understanding that you don't have to go through with it, and hopes that you made the right decision and picking a partner that would understand it.
And that's the thing. We're not talking about as much as far as you, because you kind of know you know what you want, but it's what happens when you get into those intimate spaces with whomever you're with, and them respecting your no, them respecting you maybe not wanting to go through with something, them respecting that. And like you said, some people don't understand no means no. And this is in any type of relationship. We're talking about man, woman, man, woman, whatever the case may be. But you definitely want to, I think when you're, again about sex, it's something you need to think about and go into it in a way that's safe for you, right? So whatever's safe for you, you need to do whatever and like I said, nothing's going to absolutely safeguard you, but you do need to think about that going into it. I think it's almost careless to think about, just because I talked to this person for a little bit and I think they're a good person and I like them, and my discernment says all this, and you go into it not with a mind that something could happen, especially in the beginning. I think you should be a little leery.
I agree. I think a lot of folks should be leery.
Right. And it's just because you're still getting to know someone, right? Mm-hmm. You're still getting to know, and this is actually, you're getting to know them, especially the first couple of times you have sex. You're getting to know that person on another plane. So you may know them in the public, you may know them in having fun, but again, sex is something different. And I think we do need to start talking about it more and talking about it in its totality, and what we want, how we want it, things we like, what we don't like. And I think a lot of times some people are embarrassed about what they like. You know, they're embarrassed to bring up things they like if they think it's outside the norm. But you need to speak to whatever it is you like, and be able to talk about it, and so you can have a full experience as well.
I think the other thing is we're now in a space of nothing is private anymore, and certain things that people don't feel safe to communicate because in fear of, if I don't like it, or if they don't like it, they will quote unquote expose me or put my business out there on Front Street. I think that's another reason as to why people can't necessarily be upfront with the things that they're into or the things that they like, for the fear of being ostracized for things that they're into. Because again, we're out of privacy. We're out of certain things staying in the bedroom and staying between the relationship. Don't let me get mad at you because I'm gonna go on social media and blast you. Don't let me get mad at you. I'm gonna tell your size and everything.
I'm blasting you. But wait, tell your size. I got pictures.
I was gonna say they're gonna videotape you.
I got receipts. You understand me? Right. And it will be all
and
out
tag
there.
You. So all of your family and friends gonna see it too.
Oh Lord. Yeah, that's a different kind of.
They out there doing just anything. Honestly,
it's a higher level of not feeling safe these days. Yeah, higher.
Right. And that's what it's a lot of things going on. And I think that when we come to state, and again, we started talking about diseases, and we'll get back to that. But we want to, and when we're talking about sex, we're talking about safety around sex, being safe, going into sex, having because it is a serious thing, and it could affect you in a lot of different ways. Like I said, it could be you could be putting yourself in physical harm. Your body could be harmed. A lot of things can happen if you just look at sex as something great and have fun. You also have to look at both sides of things.
Or even pregnancy with the wrong person, and then you like, what the hell did I get myself into? I'm stuck with this person for 18 years.
That's for sure.
I don't know if you got pregnant by the wrong person, because you got pregnant by the person that you let shoot the club up, or that you shot the club up.
No, I agree with that. But that's why you need, again, we go into protection, because it's not just the STDs that you need to concern yourself with. It's dealing with genetics. It's dealing with what type of family background this person has. Dealing with, am I going to be a single parent? Am I going to, you have two different, people don't think about, do we have two different ways of parenting? Is this person like an active person in their child's life?
And you have to.
So I think that about choosing the right person to have sex with.
And you have to deal with lies. I mean, people can talk about this stuff all day, but I know people that have told women they have had vasectomies and they haven't. So you're talking about getting pregnant. How do you know these people even being upfront? How do you?
We got to also we have to look at too. Remember, that's more of a hetero thing we're worrying about the baby.
Well, yes, the baby is.
Other relationships, they may not be worried about that.
No,
right?
no, I
I
agree.
don't know
So-
about
so-
that one.
So
Remember,
so-
we have people out there of different
Oh, okay.
trans that can
Well,
get
again,
pregnant. So
this
that's not
is-
just
well,
hetero, typical hetero.
Well, we're talking about hetero relationships. So again, I don't know if someone considers themselves trans. If they consider themselves hetero, they can consider that. So I'm not saying, but in at the sense, most hetero relationships, we're talking about getting pregnant. But other relationships, they may not be worrying about that, right?
But they should be worrying about the other pieces, the STDs.
Well, then that's where
all of that.
STDs and things of that nature, because
Mhm.
sometimes taking that off the table can allow other things like, oh, I ain't worried about getting pregnant. So, now I don't know what I can't speak. I don't know what I lost my train of thought. But either way, so other relationships but again, we do need to be worrying about, like I said, diseases and things of that nature. With especially like Lee was telling us about the chlamydia being on the rise. Lee, you there or no?
Lee took
Yes.
Okay, so we were talking about the three were chlamydia. What were the top three again?
Chlamydia, syphilis, and gonorrhea.
Okay, which are on a rise right now, which means there's most likely a lot of unprotected sex going on. It's just happening at an all-time rate right now. I guess people was like, listen, if we couldn't breathe the air, we ain't worried about these little plastic things on our
Wow.
to stop these. And I don't know, do women, if it's a woman-on-woman relationship, or is there something they use for protection in those relationships?
That's a good,
I don't know that question.
that's a good question.
Yeah, it is. There are female condoms, diaphragms, but let's be transparent and honest. Most women are not using them with each other, because most women that I know is not thinking about protection. Now, here's the other thing. You also have to deal with the bisexuality.
Okay.
So carrying them from gender. So for a woman, it's like, well, is she with a man? Is this man protected? Is there multiple partners? Is there? So I think that when you start going into that, it does become a little bit more complex, because it's like you think female, but no, that female still could be sleeping with other partners who could be transferring things.
True.
And this is why the question was, what do they use for protection, especially on woman on woman? So because I know I know what Lee was saying. I think it can be transferred from the mouth, right? I know we said something earlier. Which one can be transferred orally, Leanne?
Gonorrhea and actually
Here's another one.
All three of them can be done.
Fluids
from your saliva.
Right. So now, you.
But I would think even as females, the other thing that we will want to look into is vaginal hygiene.
Well, I mean because sex does affect the vaginal pH balance, right?
Men too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, nobody wants to be going to Pound Town with steaky balls either. Or swamp butt. Nobody want to do that. That puts everybody in a bad mood.
Musky balls, they don't work.
Well, again, I don't know anything about that, but now I don't know how. Wait a minute, I don't know how we started talking about. We're talking about the women, and somehow it got to the guys.
Well, that's because we're talking about sex, baby.
Right. We got to talk about both.
It's very interesting. But we were talking about the pH in women, and somehow I got to the guys and our balls. I don't know how that even. But we do want to. But
it's all correlated. Look it up.
Yep.
So tell me more. How's it correlated? Tell me more.
Men and women have sex. Women have to watch their vaginal parts, and men need to watch their penis parts.
Yes.
It it is biologically a fact. You understand what I'm saying? You can't do the do without both of the two in a heterosexual relationship. You understand?
So are we saying in a
swamp meat? Because if neither one is clean, it's just a swamp meat. It's not really sex. It's like
meat? I never heard of that.
You know.
Very
okay. So I'm the only one. I don't hear nobody else chiming in because they're laughing at me. And I'm
I'm agreeing with you.
But I know I'm right.
I totally agree with you. Totally. I just never heard the term swamp meat, so that was tickling me. But other than that, I agree with everything you're saying.
So I do know, I did learn, and I didn't know this before, and well, I mean, as growing up, because sometimes I would come home from playing basketball or something, and you want something, you just want to jump right in there. And then in the next couple of days, you're like, oh, girl, you, ooh, something wrong down there. And, you can throw her pH way off, then she had to go do whatever. So I do know that, as a male, you do have to make sure you're, clean when you enter. Because their pH is very delicate.
It's not just cleanliness, it's also the foods that you eat.
Well, I don't know about the foods that have me. I mean, I hear you, but I don't know the food that I ate threw off your pH. If you thought it was food, that was you. What I ate didn't throw your pH off. That was you.
I'm not talking about the pH, but sometimes the man, when he doesn't have a certain type of nutrition, he does not. His, like you said, the women pH is off.
Right. Okay.
The men pH goes off as well.
Yeah.
It's not pH. We just give you a nice smoothie that good protein shake. The protein shakes make it stronger. Sometimes it may not taste great, but whatever I'm eating is for you. It's for your benefit. I'm eating for your benefit.
Doc, help us. Hi, Doc. Help us.
I'm trying to figure out what I've walked in on. I don't even know what's happening.
I didn't know. Right. So I do. I guess what you eat. But again, that's not really. That's what we. So it doesn't affect us what we eat. I mean,
yes, it does affect you.
It does.
It does affect you.
I don't.
Everybody's diet affects them. Period.
I'm just no.
It does.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. I can have a great.
Wait a minute.
I don't taste it. All I'm saying is I don't taste it.
Did you say I don't taste it?
Yes.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
I didn't even hear that. Oh my.
Yes.
I didn't either.
Oh.
I'll let you know. So this is for you. I'm doing this specifically for you. Take that. You can do what you want with it after that. At that point, you can keep it. Get rid of it. It's on you.
Oh my!
But I guess I guess, and I don't know.
So are you saying that it doesn't matter? Your diet doesn't matter because you don't care because you're not the one tasting it.
That's what he's saying, Doc. Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't taste it, so whatever I eat, I'm doing it for you.
So you don't want to be considerate of the person that might be tasting it.
I told you, I'm giving her this extra stuff that she needs, the vitamins she needs. I'm helping her out.
But if you want her to continue to want to do that, I would think that you want to make sure that you're not having a diet of bitter things.
I don't think it's just that.
When you're about to be with her.
I think it's also if your diet is off and you don't use protection with the female, it definitely can linger.
Again, I don't know about that being the case either. I need to look up to Alien. Do you see that anywhere?
When we talk about vaginal protection, vaginal cleanliness, right. There is certain things that us ladies have to do when we're done, like shower almost immediately. And if anybody's with you, I would say instantaneously. You don't care about nobody. You just out here, whatever, yo.
So if well, I guess it depends on now what type of relationship you are, because usually when you're done and you call her Uber, maybe she's gonna shower when she gets home.
No, seriously, showering should happen before they get home part.
You better not ever leave their home. If you can't take a shower, you shouldn't be doing it.
But again, we sometimes, there's different type of relationships, there's different type of things that people want, right? So
you in that man's house and especially if you letting him be raw in you, if you letting him be raw in you and you can't take a shower at his place, something ain't right there.
Well,
exactly.
I don't care what type of relationship we in.
I'm not the only one probably going raw in there. She ain't just let me go raw. So all I'm saying is that sometimes it don't permit you taking a shower. You may have to leave, and vice versa. You might be at her house. I don't know.
What, you on the run or something? You gotta get out. What's up?
Well, I'm done now. So what I'm staying around for?
I can't.
Oh my gosh.
I can't.
We sign on forward with this conversation.
I don't even know how it went south like that. I'm
just saying, there's different type of relationships. Everybody's not having this romantic spend the night and showering and all that.
No,
it's
not even about spend the night. It's about you let someone enter into you. So to me, it's just that's hygiene. That's not about
shower.
And if it's a jump off, what?
Man,
you better at least give a rag with some soap. Yeah, like something. Exactly. You better give a rag with some soap.
She better bring a little bag. She can use some water. She can spray down there and wipe up her whatever she got to do. She better have something in her pocketbook.
Leanna, like you said, if they with him immediately, they need to be, and they better be using protection with him.
No, better yet, they should be in the shower with him, so they already in there.
I'm just saying, everybody isn't having this lovely romantic type thing. Funny. Some people are doing it for the purpose of just the act, you know.
And again, we're talking about hygiene and an act. They're two different things. How you just get up and just put your clothes on and walk away after that without cleaning yourself? That's the hygiene problem.
He might throw the deuces like, I get up. I'm saying everybody ain't staying around to talk afterwards, right?
That's how they do it on TV. That's how they do it on TV and the movies.
They don't
get up with their clothes on.
They never wash on TV. I don't understand it.
And it's crazy because, and I'm not going to talk about anybody here because I know you guys are different, but I don't know how many people are really getting up and doing showers after they do it all the time. I don't know. So let's not even. I'm not saying y'all like.
You don't have to do a full shower, but a wipe down or something. Come on.
Oh, wipe me down. Wipe me down. I get it. So a little bird bath because I know, that's definitely that makes sense. But I'm not taking a shower unless sometimes you can, but sometimes let's pour a little alcohol on it and keep it moving.
Can't.
It's better to know.
Alcohol kills like 99% of the bacteria.
It's better to know. At least they know what they're working with.
How did y'all get here?
We don't know.
What were you talking
about? All the potentials are listening to this.
1 second. Ruth, can you read that for us, please?
Yes. Not everyone has a shower that you can use, and not everyone is doing it where there is a shower available.
Let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because when we were in the park,
I didn't even realize.
When we're in the park, getting this thing off, or spontaneously doing something, there may not be a shower around. So then what happens?
Then if you know that you're that spontaneous in life, carry some wipes or something around with you, because
Well,
I
that's what I
think
said.
that you
Right.
understand. Let me
Right.
tell you this: you not gonna catch me in the park where the bugs are biting my behind, and like you just certain things you know about yourself. There are just certain things I know that I'm not going to do. But however, if I know that this is what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to at least make sure I carry wipes around with me. If I know I might be that person that's feeling a little free and frisky, I'm gonna carry some wipes around with me. Like I, in my head, I just
Yes.
can't.
Fellas.
How you walk around carrying that on you? Ill.
Hey, fellas,
Well,
make
before and after. You
Fellas.
understand?
fellas, listen. So we
Absolutely.
want girls.
You might have just did a job together. Like Ill.
playing basketball and carrying on.
Fellas,
Right.
we want girls that have wipes in their bag because they with it. I'm just
No,
saying, that's what I
we
learned.
want y'all to have your own wipey.
Or-
We want y'all to wipe it down first. Be nice.
Wait a minute.
Y'all
Listen.
You
This
sound like
sounds so
Terrence
boring.
Howard.
Yeah, this sounds so boring. No spontaneity. You gotta do all that. I think that kind of kills
Spontaneity?
her vibe. Like, yeah, girl, we about to.
Say
we
that
about
Again,
to
we're
do this,
talking
girl.
about protection. This is a
Ugh,
level of
girl.
protection.
Girl, yeah, we
Because
about to
your
do this thing.
body
Remember I
also,
told you what I-
like, especially with a woman's body, our body reacts different than men's bodies. So this is a level of protection. It's even
Listen.
without the STDs, it's definitely protecting yourself against, you got oh no, no
Listen,
sir.
I don't know what you're talking about. 'cause
And then
if-
when you walk around and you dripping, now you want to know why.
well, you better get it.
Because
You better
you're
bring a
out
panty.
here
I do
doing
know you need a panty
fluffy
liner.
in the park.
Bring a panty liner and to put in your panties to catch that extra drippage. Because
I'm talking about you too, because you sticking it in there.
Listen, he's going to be having a drippage too. We keep on playing like that. He will be dripping too.
If he's dripping, then he had something. He had a problem. Okay. Because once
Yeah,
I did
there's
a shake,
something
shake.
going on.
He gonna have a problem.
Hey, shake, I'm
Exactly.
done. Okay, I put it away. He's done. He's not dripping. He's sealed up.
I think I've
I
been
know
married
women-
too long. I've been married too long.
I understand.
You talk
that
about dripping and wipes, and how do we?
I know. I'm like,
listen. I understand that, but again, I think with spontaneity, I'm not going to be wiping it down before and all that. It's spontaneous for a reason, and then afterwards, and I didn't know for a long time girls drip afterwards. After you shot the club up, I didn't know. So I've been looking back like, damn, I wonder what they did. It must have running down their leg and everything. I didn't know. They didn't tell me. I didn't know. It wasn't a thing. But yeah, we were shooting the club up.
Whew.
Okay.
Hey, let me
I think
ask
there are a
you
lot of
question,
things
Jay.
that women don't tell men for
Right.
various reasons. Sometimes they
Right.
feel like it's something to be embarrassed about,
Mhm,
or
mhm, mhm.
Yep.
if several people shooting up the club, they're not telling everybody what's happening.
Right. Right.
But I think
Scandalous.
there are some things that there are a lot of things that men just don't know about women and their bodies.
That's 100%. I'm telling you.
Can I pose a question?
You can pose a question, Elle. Go ahead.
What are some things that you wish you would have known about when you first started having sex?
For me,
Question.
well, you women can go first because I got a different experience. So, what would you guys want to know?
I think for me, it would have been knowing yourself. I
Right.
definitely think that
That
there's
would've
not
been
enough
mine, too.
education on us knowing ourselves and making these decisions of how do I reach climax and not necessarily depend
Right.
on him to
Right.
get me there.
Right.
And like,
we-
so I think
we
that for
can't.
me is more so that I feel like came over time with maturity and experience was
Right.
learning myself.
Mm.
But if somebody would have told me that a long time ago, baby,
Yeah. Right. And that's what I feel I learned over time. I learned because again, for guys, once we especially start climaxing, that becomes a drug to us. Like it's a drug. It's literally a drug, and you're chasing that drug. Since we start finishing, just about 99% of the time we do it, we're going to finish. So where it gets to the point where all we see is that drug. We want to get that feeling again. So. And a woman not knowing herself, we're just humping on you. Then you just become something we're humping on. You know what I mean? We're just using you to orgasm, and it's not like it's right or wrong. It's what we know because no one's saying anything. No one's telling you you're doing something wrong. So you're like, well, she's here, I'm coming, it's good to me, we should be good, right? And then women also start lying about things like, yeah, it's good, you're great, I love it.
Because
you're
of the male ego.
Right.
Say why.
Right.
Because of the male ego.
No, you say, well, I don't know if it's the male ego. I think it's because you want to keep your position with him. You want to build him up so he
I
stays
think that's
with
definitely
you.
a part as well.
Right.
That and the ego. I agree.
Well, I don't know if it's ego. If you don't, you're feeding it. If it is the ego, you're feeding it because you want it.
It is part of it. It is.
No, wait. You're blaming what you're doing to get us on us. No, you're trying to use our ego to keep us. Right. You're doing it for a reason. You're using these tactics to keep us. Yeah, you're the best because you think he'll stay, even though he's not. Right?
Some people might, Daryl, but some might not want to hurt his feelings.
Because you like him. It's all the same thing. You want to keep your position. You don't want him to leave you. So you're going to say, I'm going to say things that are positive to him so he stays around. But you don't understand that you're actually hurting that man by doing that. Right? You're not allowing him to know what you need. So he just thinks he's great. So now when it comes to that one woman who says, you're not great, this is terrible, he's like, everybody else said I was good, right? Because he has, in his experience, everybody said he was good or lied to him. And now the one who tells him the truth, I can't believe you. Everybody else said I was good. So I do believe, I wish we both could talk and women could tell what they want. And we knew the questions to ask. Also, man, we knew the questions to ask what you want. And that's the problem, you know?
Yep, I agree.
Right. But it's still ego.
Yes.
Thank you, Julie.
So
yes.
wait a minute. So you feeding our ego is our fault.
No, not your fault, but it's happening.
No, what I'm saying is that, yes, what you're doing is, but you're doing it for your own purposes. You're doing it to stay.
Not always. Yeah, you're right. Because sometimes if you don't do it, that's putting yourself in danger.
Well, yes.
Be punched in the face because somebody's ego was bruised. To be hurt because somebody's ego was bruised. You can't even tell a man no more without hurting their feelings. And that's just to a date. You turn somebody down on a date and they could turn around and go off and hit you on some ridiculous thing. So you're right. We will say certain things to stroke that ego because it just keeps us in a safe position.
Right. Yeah. So I do agree to that. That is real. And that's even when we're talking about even being intimate with someone, saying something could throw them off.
I think also we deal with the female ego as well. Because I also know females that, okay, the man reached climax, but I didn't. So I'm a beast. I'm tight. I'm great. So I think it also feeds their ego as well that they were, it's like, oh, he didn't get brushed up against. That's why he did. But I'm tight enough and I'm good at what I do. So that also fuels their ego sometimes as well.
Right.
Three. Don't be out here. Yes. Don't be out here giving D more fuel.
I was about to say, listen, hey,
talking about,
I thought we was at Wawa gas just now.
About the female ego is not what we do.
Well, no, I mean, no. So one thing I know is very interesting because sometimes, even with, like, I know some women want you to go fast. They want you to actually climax fast because it makes them feel better. Because it makes them feel like their stuff is better. That's what someone told me. I don't know how true it is. Some people like it. Like if you go too long, they be like, "Oh, my stuff must be bad because you didn't climax." Yada yada yada. So what is that about? What is that about when they be like, "Oh, you took too long. Am I bad?"
It's still ego.
That's her ego, right? Okay.
It is. I agree.
Talk that talk, Terrain. Look at that. Let me put that back up there. Look at that. Let me put that back up there. Woo!
So one thing I wish I would have known.
Okay.
Is that sex is okay.
Okay. Tell me more.
I grew up in a family where, sex was actually demonized to an extent.
Wow. Okay.
And it was always, especially to females, and it was always the female responsibility to hold the weight of the whole relationship or situation. And I don't know how many other women have heard, if you get pregnant, you're not coming back in this house with that, this, that, and the third. We never hear that to the gentleman.
Right.
But I know that was always a saying that went around in our home. And it almost makes you feel like sex is dirty, you don't want to do it and things like that. But I just wish that I knew it was okay earlier in life, and that it was a natural occurrence.
Okay.
To be free, to be able to explore and do others.
Ooh.
I'd agree with her because
Do you guys have you shared that type of experience? I'm not a woman, so I don't know.
That was my upbringing as well, Lee, and my background, where fire and brimstone. Don't have sex before you get married. Don't come in here pregnant. Blah blah blah. All of the above, where there was such a guilt connected to it. No matter if you were in a relationship, if you really cared about this person, just do not do it. Fire and brimstone. Right. So that I wish that was different. And I had known differently back then. To appreciate your sexuality and all of that in a different way. It took some years to catch up a little bit to that.
Wow. Okay. What'd they say?
My mom never said anything like that to me. That's what the Facebook user said.
Okay. And that's real. I don't know who that is.
It's Jocelyn Hood.
Okay. And I wonder what her experience was like. What did her mom say? So what should we do?
My mom never said anything like that to me. So maybe it was okay. Maybe it was healthy.
Well, no. I think that it's so for me, in raising my daughter, like again, I already, I had to talk as much as, she's 10 now, but starting at 4, we were talking about these type of things, 3, 4 years old, because you want to introduce kids to this early and make them feel comfortable. Even as far as putting her in some sex education. She went to sex education, I don't know, it was like counseling, whatever it was, something she did with sex education. Because I just wanted to arm her with as much knowledge about it as possible. I wanted her to make it wanted to be more natural so we could talk about things, right? So now, go ahead, Leanne.
Don Purnell wants to know, so what should you say to young kids and when?
Well, that's what I'm talking about right now. So what I'm saying is that we had conversations, again, age appropriate, and this is why the sex education was actually important to me as well, because it helped me to understand how to speak to her at that age, at 3 and 4, and then going forth. I think we need to find words that we're speaking to them. Because sometimes we speak to a child and we think they know what we're talking about, but they don't have our experiences. So, like you say, something as simple as like put your eye on the ball. We know what that means metaphorically, but they might take and be like, put their eye on the ball because they're taking it literally. So I definitely took some classes to learn how to speak to her, and I put her in classes to teach her different things. And I think it's been great because now she's 10 and we can talk about these things. And with the world the way it is today, where we're so inundated with sex. If you're looking at TikTok, if you're looking at any of these things, they all are sex is a very big part of everything at all ages. So I want to be able to come to me to ask questions, and we can talk about everything, right? And sometimes it gets, and I make sure I keep my face, but she asks me questions about things or tells me things like, my friend is pansexual. What'd you say? She's 9. What are you talking about? You don't know what that means. And I always ask her, what does that mean? And she'll tell me exactly what it means. I'm like, I guess she's pansexual. Wow, she's 9. So it's very interesting, but you do need to start talking to your kids earlier, because if you don't talk to them, the world's going to talk to them. Yep. And the world's going to lead them to a different place that they don't need to be.
And that's why it's important. That's why it's important that you have the education as well.
Yep.
Yes.
So that you can have those discussions with your children. And I also agree with you there. I think the earlier the better, especially when you're talking about starting with things like body safety, because a lot of kids don't know body safety. They don't know what their private parts are. They don't know who's allowed to touch them and who's not. So those should be early discussions.
And giving them, by the early education of it, Doc, right? Giving them the proper terms to use, not these little kiddie terms, and so that they know exactly what it is that's being touched or talked about. I had to learn that piece, that you can't use these little cutesy words with that.
But I think that they should know both. I think that knowing both, because they will disguise it as pretty names. But if I'm educating my child about the pretty names and the clinical terms, then my child is more educated. I think that, you know, I remember my grandmother telling me, you know, this is your pocketbook, but this is your vagina. You know, so being able, because with people, you know, the pedophiles or whoever they're called, I think that they'll come up with names and cutesy names or make it appealing or however they want to do it. So teaching both sides of that is really important, that there are a lot of different names for it, but let's talk about it.
Well, I don't know how true that is, because when if you would have said something to my daughter about her pocketbook, she's like, "You mean my vagina?" Oh no, she would have it would, whatever you wanted to call it, she would know what it was and be able to combat that, you know, because
so I'm speaking of that from experience, and the terminologies and times have changed. I'm 43. I was raised by my grandparents. So certain terminologies that were used by your grandparents, they're definitely not using now. So what I'm saying is not that that's a cutesy, that's the necessary word that they're using, but they're calling it the kitty cat, the cat snatcher, the wet. You know, there's so many other names that they're calling it.
What I'm saying is that no matter what they call it, she knows what it is and knows that you shouldn't be touching it. Right?
So no, I agree. But
yeah. So I don't think you need I don't need the little cute. I didn't have to teach her the cutesy names, because if someone tried to say, you know, and because she would say, well, what is the pocketbook, or what is the wet, whatever it is, and they point to it and try, that's my vagina. You're not supposed to touch that. Not supposed to do that. You know what I mean?
But I think it's also an age thing as well, an age or a level of understanding.
Right, and that's why I say you start talking to them early, and you tell them what it is, and you let them know that no one's supposed to be down here. So I don't care what you say. If I know no one's supposed to be here, if the child knows that, then that helps them to ward off anything that comes. No matter what you call it, what you say, it's still like, I don't care. You're not supposed to be down here. You're not supposed to touch this. Right. But I mean, and that's just for me and what I see what works. I mean, there could be different things that could work as well. I just don't see the advantage of them knowing a whole bunch of different names for it, because that can get convoluted. You know.
Yeah. Jocelyn said,
so a transparent moment. No, I agree. So I'm gonna have a transparent moment. I was a child that was molested at an early age, and it was given to me at a young age by someone very close to me, a cutesy name. But because I was also taught what those cutesy names were, and also the clinical terminology for it, because no, they're not necessarily going to point to it. There's so many ways of manipulation and ways to violate that is not just that area, you know? So there are a lot, it's a lot when it comes to education, especially when you were a victim, you know? So I understand that there could be, you know, it could be too much to explain all of the cutesy names. And no, of course, you're not going to get every name. But I think that when you understand that there are names that's presented, that you understand that you teach your children that there can be names associated with it that's not the the technical terminology for it. So it's like, I don't think that there's a cookie cutter way of dealing with it.
Right.
But I also think that when you have been a victim yourself and understood the pathological way that they think and how things were presented to you, that you try to, for me, make sure that my child understands these things at a very early age, you know. So it you know, for me, being someone who had to deal with that, terminology is important to teach my child.
And again, that's what I said. I think, and at the end of the day, sometimes we don't have the words. I think we may not have the words, and that's why, to me, it was important to learn. Like Doc was saying, we have to learn ourselves as well. Learn how we can talk and tell, and maybe look outside of ourselves. Because again, that's why there's experts. Sometimes experts will help you in these areas, and I think that people shouldn't be above going to get help for whatever they are. Like, oh, I know how to raise my kids. Oh, you may know how to raise them, but it doesn't hurt to have other people to help you out and further educate you, to even educate them better. Like I said, because I thought I was well versed in this. I take a lot of classes and things of that nature, but I learned a lot from going to the experts to help me raise my daughter. And I'm in this field already, right? So I already thought I knew, but I learned so much that I didn't know because it wasn't my specialty.
Yeah.
So that definitely helped out a lot. Right, Doc? We come to Doc for education.
Yes. Everybody needs a doc.
Right. And Terrain, thank you. And Terrain, thank you for your self-disclosure. That definitely is very, empowering, and you can help other people with your story. So thank you for sharing.
And I share that. So let me be very clear. I'm very transparent about life, who I am, where I am, what I've overcame. Because one of the things is, I think that's a lot of things, especially in our community, that get shunned or swept under the rug, or people, we're not transparent in it. We're not talking about it. Or that when we have experienced those as child, we're super, super protective of our children, that everything is sexualized. Everything is like, no, don't let them do this because this may be, so I think that also having to deal with that, and then being a parent, trying to learn boundaries of what is okay and what is genuine love, and not misconstrued as anything sexualized. Because now it's like you're in protection mode, and let me protect my baby, and no, you can't do this, no, you can't go here, no, you can't see this, no, you can't talk to this person. And I think that a lot of times in our community, sadly, we don't have people necessarily speaking up against it, or there's an embarrassment that comes along with it, or it's like, oh no, I don't want nobody to know the secrets, and it's like, how do you help somebody else deal with it, unless these are the things when we're dealing with protection, again, protection at an early age. And how are we parenting our children? How are we educating our children? Not only educating, how much time are we spending with our children? Where are we placing our children at? Whose care are we placing them at? So
it reminds me of some of the posts that you see, like if you see a man in the bathtub with his child, and people are saying, "Oh, you can't do that. I don't even let my husband hug my kids. I don't let my husband kiss my kids on the lip." Like what?
Right.
But I think that balance is important.
And not only balance, I think that if somebody's experienced, you need to talk to somebody about them and work through them. That's the problem. You're trying to deal with it yourself, but again, you need to talk to someone about a traumatic experience that you went through, and you need to find a way of dealing with it, and because that'll help you. That'll help your life, right? So it's very difficult to parent your children effectively when you're still parenting them through your trauma.
Yeah.
Right. Or it's even difficult to be in relationship when you're relationshiping through your trauma.
Totally agree with that.
Like,
I agree.
Or you're trying to have sex, but you're still doing it through your trauma. Like all these things affect how we go forth. And we need to start trying to fix it in the beginning so the other things can come out to be better.
Breaking those generational curses, we have to break them. We have to break them.
And we got to talk about it.
That is one of the reasons why. That is one of the reasons why when we're diagnosing and making recommendations for people for services, we talk about if they've been traumatized, you treat the trauma first.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, after the trauma is treated, a lot of the other symptoms go away.
Okay.
Wow.
So you have to treat the trauma first.
That's a good thing to say. And you're right, Daryl. Going to the experts, I totally agree, because like you said, we're well intended, but I've been traumatized. So how am I dealing with your trauma? And I've attempted to go to family members who, like you, Tareen, I was raised by grandparents. I went back to the grandmom to ask some of these questions and say what happened in this scenario, and shut down mode. Like, don't bring that up. Yeah, be glad you're where you are today. Don't bring that up.
You know what? One thing I'll say with that, my grandparents were my impact was before I became with my grandparents.
Okay, mine too.
But they were very, like, my grandparents, when I say they did not play about us, they did not play about us. It was shut down city when that conversation happened. So, it was like, gratefully, I had the grandparents that I had. But this happened, unfortunately, with when I was in my mother's care,
Me too.
So it wasn't, but once my grandparents learned about it, it was shut down city.
Right. And again, this is a great conversation, but we're steering away from and this is something we need to talk about. This is something we need a whole show on, right?
Yeah, let's bring it back.
We need a whole show to really talk about some of these things that what stays in the family, what happens in the family stays in the family.
Yeah.
Right. We're not going to talk about what happened, right? Even when you're trying to get closure as you get older to talk about it. That's a show we really need to talk about, because I think a lot of people are dealing with that type of thing, they're holding that. That's something we definitely need to talk about. But let's get about and let's get back to these diseases that people having. And the dripping, there was some dripping going on that when Doc came on, they was talking about dripping, walking around dripping. It was
wipes.
We don't know. Wipey.
Let me tell you, when I was doing sex education stuff, we would do it for the mental health homes in the city, where the CRRs, the CLAs and all that. And we would show the same film. And in the film, there's a man that has this thing that looks like a tree growing out of his penis. It's like a bunch of cauliflower growing on top of his penis. And one of the things that everybody always said was, how did it get that big? Right. When it was a little thing, why didn't you do something about it? How did it get this long? Like, what
Maybe
is
made the
happening?
penis look bigger. It made the penis look bigger.
Not growing out the sides.
Gave him some inches. He got some inches.
Not growing out the sides.
He was like 10 inches.
On the side. On the
side. No.
He said he hitting both walls at the same time.
Oh my God. But that is one of the things one of the differences that we always talked about between men and women. If this thing ain't falling, if it's not falling off, he's not going to the doctor. He's fine unless it's starting to fall off. But a lot of times women, you feel a little twinge, you feel a little something. We headed right to the doctor. Like, yo, what is going on?
Wait a minute, stop. Is that really the case?
Yes,
I didn't see some numbers on that, because if the numbers of STDs are up, that means everybody ain't going to the doctor. Okay.
But some of them are silent, especially in women. That's the problem. Some of them are silent for a while in women.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That is very true.
So what I'm learning is,
especially.
Go ahead, Leah.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, what I'm learning, fellas, definitely strap up, because we got the silent killer out here, and these women, they are silent assassins.
Women as
she
well.
May look good.
No, it's y'all that be the
she may look good, but
running it all around.
Right, and they've got
wipe down afterwards.
They've got trees growing out of the side of it, so women too.
Right.
The silent killer. Well, this is a great comment. What did it say?
Need to test regularly.
Yes.
That's Julie.
Yes.
Don't wait for the symptoms from Julie.
Especially if if you're sexually active.
Yes.
There's no embarrassment to that. When you have your yearly GY intercourse, hey, test me. Test me for everything.
Is yearly regularly? Because I was going at one point.
That's not regularly. That's just that's just one of the times.
Well, that's what I'm saying, where it gets embarrassing.
Because people don't even do it then.
I used to go every couple months just get a checkup. It makes everything is good. And they were like, "How much sex are you having?" And it wasn't that I was having a lot, but again, I was making sure, because sometimes you can't trust who you're with. They seem like they cool, but you don't know. So
then that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole other conversation.
Hey,
if I can lay with you unprotected and I don't trust you, we having a whole nother conversation.
That's another show.
Wait a minute. I need some more men on the show, because the biggest right now we're finding out a lot of babies aren't the men who are claiming them, because the woman lied. Right? This is something that's going on. So, I mean, it could be real. You could trust somebody all you want. Doesn't mean
you can talk about that all you want. What needs to be said is none of the women that is on this podcast right now.
I'm speaking for. Listen, check yourself out. You should be testing yourself. I'm not saying that, especially if you're not married. Because some people feel like they're not married, they're not in a relationship, they're not in a committed relationship. If you're just dating, check yourself out. You don't know what they look like to the other person. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not
And
saying.
I would say, even though you're married,
I was going to say that
out.
too. Some married people need to check it out.
I know, because the baby ain't the husband. That's why.
I'm talking about the STDs.
Hey, we talking about the babies, okay? that you're raising and they're not yours. Did that just happen in the dude in the NBA had, I think he had 2 kids and it was by his best friend. They found out he was really hurt from the Lakers. I think it just happened.
Yeah, so I read that. Yes, I can't remember the names of the people.
2 kids.
But I did read that.
Deontay, no, I can't remember his name, but 2 kids and it was his best friend. I'm just saying. So taking care of again, so I don't think taking care of yourself should be looked at as I don't trust you as more as I'm just taking care of me, maybe.
But you know what?
And
he probably cheated so many times and she got her licks back.
Ooh.
That's how you get licked back? By having 2 kids by somebody else? Okay, you're winning.
It probably wasn't intentional with the kids, but he probably was swinging it all over town, and she like, oh, I'm gonna get my licks back.
So it's his fault that she out here sleeping with his best friend.
I'm not excusing the behavior, but what I'm saying is that sometimes when women cheat, it's more than a physical thing.
Oh, women have a reason to cheat, huh? Is that what we're saying?
No, men really never do.
So it's a difference of cheating. Doc, do you ever hear this before? Is this something in the DSM-5 that men just cheat and women?
We can't say that.
Right, women have a reason to cheat and men cheat.
Just
women
because.
Are doing it for a reason. Yeah, men just because.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the DSM-5 somewhere?
Cheating because they want to.
Yeah. Everybody cheats out of selfishness. Everybody.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Out of opportunity.
I'm not even going to say
there.
opportunity.
No.
I'm not even going to say opportunity because people make opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Right. Or the opportunity may present itself. Like you didn't know you were going to be working late with Miss Big Booty, and it happened.
Wow.
Who knew? Who knew when I was going to the copy machine?
You knew.
Because
I was going
the moment you found out
machine.
Miss Big Booty was going to be working late with you, and you knew that you know that you were attracted to her, you tell your supervisor, "Hey, can you find somebody else to fill in for me? Because I can't work with Miss Big Booty."
Thank you.
Why would I have someone else fill in when I was going to fill in at work?
Yeah.
Hello.
Then it didn't just happen, Daryl. It's a conscious decision. You made a decision.
Wait a minute, time out. It did just happen because think about it. Even if you wanted something up, so you just made her do it. No, it had to be consensual. So it just happened. You made. I think there's people you find. Okay.
You still had a choice. You still had a choice.
I didn't say you didn't have a choice. I didn't say you didn't have a choice, but I'm saying that she has to be, or he has to be, the other person has to be willing to do what you want to. It's people you find attractive all the time. Doesn't mean something's going to happen, right?
Yeah, so, you can make it happen by asking or putting yourself in the situation.
Yeah, you can't make. Well, okay, don't go to work anymore because it's beautiful.
I didn't say anymore. I said working late by yourself with her.
Like, that's damn, I gotta quit another job.
Yeah, because you can't trust yourself. You can't trust yourself.
Hey, what they say? Can't trust yourself around a big button and smile. I know I changed the words, but that's what it should say.
Poor thing.
Who knew? Who would know? But again, anytime I think people cheat. Like I said, you can try to make a reason, but you cheat because you wanted to, right? You cheat because you wanted to. I don't think you're getting back at me by cheating. I don't think that's what you're doing. You're cheating because you wanted to.
That might be how she justifies it. Who knows?
Right, and we all have a reason. Like, you know what I mean? And it's usually because the biggest reason of cheating is it was a mistake. That's why I cheated. It was a mistake. It was a mistake.
Yeah, it was a mistake. I bet you enjoyed it while you was in it. There was a moment that you could say no, and no means no. So you enjoyed it. Still, you did it because you wanted to.
One of the reasons I hear from women often is that they cheated because their man wasn't giving them enough attention. He was working too much. He wasn't around enough.
Right.
That's usually
okay.
He was cheating.
excuse that women give. Men just do it because of opportunity, like Daryl said.
But she got a big butt and she's working late.
Yeah, she got a big butt and she was willing.
That's a shame.
smile.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I don't understand. Men are cheating with who? Women, right? So we all want it.
That's what I just said. She had a big butt and she was willing.
And she said the same thing. He had a big bulge and was willing. Listen, whatever it was, she was thinking the same thing that didn't let her go home to her husband.
But what I'm saying is, men don't use those same excuses that women do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Women say it's because you're not around. Men just say it just happened.
Well,
because
no,
it was there. It was the opportunity was there.
Men say the same thing. We cheated because you weren't around, because you weren't there when we cheated. So
at that moment.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
that's a little different now.
Right. That's a lot different. It's a lot different.
Oh, I don't see her. That's a shame.
So it's kind of the same thing because she's not around.
No, it's not. Oh my goodness.
Woo! And it's so it's weird with cheating because women cheat so much more than men. It's very interesting that they.
It's about equal, but women don't get caught as much. It's about equal.
I agree to that.
That's what the stats say. And if the stats say it's about equal, then it's probably women are probably a little bit more.
Okay, but they're more clever with theirs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Yeah, women aren't as sloppy. They aren't as sloppy.
No,
we're not it either.
That's what it means.
Neither one of them I think are right. I think that men are less likely to think their women are cheating, so they don't want to see it, right? Because our egos. We talked about this before. My ego is not going to allow me to really think that my woman is cheating on me. Like I'm the only one filling this hole. Nobody else is in this spot but me, and this is me, and that's what it is. She loved me.
But
I give her the magic stick.
Tested every 2 months because you don't trust the female that you with. Make it make sense.
Say again.
You said you go get tested frequently because you don't trust the female that you with. So either you egotistical and you don't believe she cheating, or she a hoe.
I know how you are. Again, you saw that women cheat just as much as men, so I know how you are. That's why. So you gotta be safe. If I'm going by the stats for my safety, I'm gonna keep protecting myself because I never know when one of y'all gonna go out and do y'all thing. You know what I mean? Never know when y'all gonna do your thing. But what I'm saying is that but most men, our ego won't allow them to see that, right? They don't want to believe it. So women could be doing it right under your nose and you just won't see it, right? Because you got blinders on. It's not even a thing. It's not a thing, right? It's not. But the men who have been cheated on, that's the ones that in your phone every 5 seconds and need the passcode and all that. So you know when a man's been cheated on you because he'll definitely be over the top with his, what are you doing?
Or that he's out there cheating and can't handle if you do the same thing he do. So he might be out there doing his thing and probably never necessarily had to deal with cheating, but I know I'm doing my thing, so let me make sure she ain't gonna have one up on me.
Well, not one up on you, not doing what you do. Because if you live that way, you expect everyone else to live that way. You expect everyone else to be sneaking, lying, and that type of thing. So you're projecting it onto her, even though she may not deserve it, and that's unfortunate. But because most men, we say no absolutes, but most men can't handle their women cheating. Like it's not something most men don't come back from cheating once a woman cheats. It's very difficult because it hurts us to our core. To our soul.
They should think about that when they're out there cheating. They should think about that.
Wait, why are we thinking about it? We're talking about what you're doing. Please.
No, I'm just saying on the other side. They should be we have to talk about everything equally here, Daryl.
No, and we are talking about equally. We're not talking about that. Why are we talking about that? That's ridiculous. But yeah, that goes back to us being our ego and things of that nature and not being able to handle. I don't know any man that's really cool or can handle that cheating part because it really attacks our manhood sometimes, right? Because now another man has what you have. He took yours and gave it back. He didn't even want it. He's like, I took it, go back home. That's terrible. Wow. That's horrible. He knows what I know. He got one up on me. Like, cause he took my woman from me and gave her back. I hate him. I'm gonna kill everybody. Wow. That's why people snap.
Wow. And he out there cheating crazily. Okay, got
Here you
it.
go, Ruth.
Exactly.
Stop bringing it back to us, Ruth. Here you go. Stop bringing it. We're talking about
No,
y'all.
you need to hear
every
that.
time-
You need to hear it.
You want to bring it back to what we're doing. We're talking about y'all right now. This is what women are doing.
Wow. All right. The safest thing to do is to be a part of the cuddle parties that I researched. It's not sexual.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
None of this stuff. You just go. You can do one-on-one. You can do small groups. It is really popular out there right now. There are apps for it.
So
You-
now, Ruth,
Some
you gotta
people are
kinda-
getting paid
kinda-
for it.
Oh, you get
Yeah.
paid big time. They start at $80 an hour, all the way up to like $400 if you want an all-night cuddle.
See,
Oh.
so now I have a question. Would you be okay with your mate, spouse, whatever, going to cuddle?
I'm gonna cuddle him. Why he gotta go there? I'm saying if somebody needs, if somebody's in need of that, then they can discuss it.
Oh, so we see? Look, you see
So
that?
are
What do you
you
mean?
saying if your mate had a job cuddling? Because if
No,
it's
no,
a
no.
job,
Like say,
Is that what you're
you know,
asking?
like you know how like whip. Sometimes people like massages and they go
Yeah.
to relax or whatever. But what if he wanted to like go cuddle
He,
or she
Oh,
wanted to go
you-
cuddle?
but like Doc is saying, him to be the cuddler, him to be the one.
No, him to receive the cuddle.
No, I'm cuddling him. He's good. No.
No. Listen, that makes no sense. That'd be like me saying I'm going to massage you. You're good. So if he wanted, so you're saying he couldn't cuddle.
He doesn't
You would-
need
you'd
to
be
cuddle.
against
There
it.
may be some couples that need
So
the
you
cuddling.
gonna tell him what he needs?
No, I'm
you
just
gonna say
saying
what he
he's
needs?
going to come to understand he's already being cuddled.
He gonna come to understand. He gonna come to understand.
But Daryl, in all seriousness, what if somebody is not being cuddled? They're not in a relationship or whatever, and they
No.
need that release.
Wait a minute. I want to talk about it in the sense of that people who are together and you're
Oh.
going and they want to cuddle. Like, let's talk about that aspect first, because I think that
Okay.
now we talk about insecurities and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, and I don't know much about it. I'm just speaking.
Yeah.
Not speaking from my point of view. I don't know about it. But I'm wondering if cuddling was the thing I like to do, or be done to me, or whatever. I don't know, whatever you say. And I go and I get cuddles, just like someone would go get a massage. I don't know.
You do that,
I
I'm
think
sure.
it is. I think it is kind of like getting a massage.
Right.
I mean, I think it's like the same concept.
That's what they
You know,
say. You're close.
If you like massages and your spouse or your mate isn't massaging you for the hour that you would pay for, then you go get a massage. Now, if you and your spouse aren't cuddling all the time and you need an extra cuddle, you go pay to get cuddled.
I agree. If you're not cuddling with them, but I
Wait,
got
no, Ruth. No. See, you're saying your amount of cuddle is enough for them, but
Well,
it may
isn't
not
that-
be.
Isn't that part of the communication, Daryl?
Well, yeah, but obviously, if they're communicating to you that they want a different type of cuddle, maybe.
Then I'll try to learn that type of cuddle for him.
Wait a minute. See, here we go again. So you're still not. You're still
She
denying.
said he's not getting cuddled nowhere else. That's what
Thank
she
you.
said.
I'm
That's
going
what
to do
she
what I have to
said.
do. Thank you, Doc.
But it's not about you. See, again, you made it about you just now.
No,
You think
Daryl.
this
No,
goes-
you did.
Lee better get cuddled at home.
Lee better
No,
keep this
again.
cuddle right here, man.
This is the problem.
And I think
So
it
then-
goes back to the foundation of what we were talking about last week when dealing with relationships and communication and understanding what it is that you need and being able to articulate it to your partner. Now, I'm personally not a big cuddler. I have this need. Like, I don't like feeling confined. Like, when it comes to clothes, when it comes to somebody on me, when it comes to certain things. So
Oh, I know
there
what
are
to get him
certain
for,
parts of
Christmas. Cuddling coupons.
all honesty, if my partner come to me and be able to be transparent with me and say, "Hey, I need a cuddle buddy," and
Right.
I felt I was unable to give it to him based on what is comfortable for me, then it's up to me to decide whether or not I'm willing to allow them to get the things that they need. Again, I think that there are certain situations where we really have to understand the things that our partners may need
I
and
agree.
realizing that we can't be everything for that
Right.
person, and what is
Right.
acceptable, what is not acceptable, and do like my partner might not be a great massage therapist. And I'm like, well, listen, he like,
Right.
well, I got it all you need. And I'm like, wait a minute.
You don't.
Yours always
Right.
leads to something. Yours ain't
Right.
no real massage. Like, I need a real
Oh, yeah,
massage.
that too. That
That's
part.
true.
That part. Hey, you want this massage?
I agree. And
Hey.
like Lee likes massages and I don't. So he goes and gets massages and I'm cool with that.
Right.
Right. So
So I
what's
think
the
it's all about
difference?
communication
So wait,
and setting
so
boundaries and
my question would be to you, and not to you as in you, but I'm saying this in general.
I know what you mean.
What's the
What
difference
I
between the
consider it.
cuddle? Right. What's the difference between the cuddle and the massage?
Right. We could talk about it. We
I
could
don't
talk
know,
about it.
body to body, you may
The
get an
cuddle
erection.
to some
That may
people
be a little
might
different.
And they
a lot
said that
more
they do.
intimate.
Wait,
It's
one at
funny
a time,
you
one
said
at a
that.
time.
Holding them,
One at
the
a time.
bodies are pressed against each other. There,
Yes.
you know, it gives room for things to rise.
Yeah.
And it does happen.
You
It does
know.
happen, they
So
said.
is that more about our over sexualizing things then? Are we over sexualizing cuddle?
absolutely.
So are we
Your body-
actually
That's a
I
human
think
thing.
response.
it depends on how you look at it. If you look at it just a human
Right.
reaction of the contact of the bodies, and it's not going to lead to anything sexual,
Yes.
that's different than you looking at it and saying, "Well, if he get hard, we gotta have sex."
Well,
Right.
what I'm saying, even with the cuddle, if I'm
Exactly.
going into the cuddle and I'm doing it because this is how I relax, whatever the case may be, and I'm
Yes.
not getting aroused or she's not getting aroused. So if we take that out of it, what would be wrong with it? Because no different than a massage.
No, it wouldn't necessarily be anything wrong with it, Daryl, on a serious tip. But again, we'd have to talk about it and why that they needed that. And if
Did you
I'm
have to
willing,
talk about
if I'm willing
sorry.
to be the cuddler and I like cuddling. That's all.
Agreed.
right,
Agreed.
but again, like you said, if it's something I want and it may be different than you want, maybe I want to go and just relax, right? Maybe I'm cuddling to get
Again,
away from you.
she's saying
Maybe
that
I'm cuddling
you
to get
give
away from you. Okay?
opportunity for
No, I'm telling
communication.
you, I'm cuddling to get away from you. Like I don't want to cuddle with you. I do everything else with you. I want to get away from you. This is my happy place. I want to go cuddle,
Then,
and
Go
it's all
cuddle.
it is.
then go
Right?
cuddle.
Because I don't think
Man,
we
I
have to have
think at
that
that point there's
conversation
some
with massages.
psychological issues with that. It's a little
Now
bit
it's a
deeper
psychological
than I
issue?
need to lay in somebody. Man, that's
it's
a
a psychological
psychological
Yeah,
issue.
issue.
because
I
most
need to
of
be
Wow.
cuddled. I got a partner laying here, and to get away from my partner, I
Doc.
need to go find someone else to cuddle with. And
Hey,
something
Doc.
more going on that you feel like you need to escape just to be cuddled. That's
and you're
weird.
going to pay
Hey,
money
Doc.
when I'm going to do it for free. You're going to pay my
Doc.
money.
Doc, do you have mental issues because you want to go
What I
cuddle?
should have did with
I
that
mean, I'm gonna
money.
ask the doctor. I'm gonna ask the doctor, before we just throw around these arbitrary things like you got mental health issues, you want to go cuddle. I don't think so. I think anything you do for your own health, right? Your personal health, like if playing a video game, going to get a massage, going to get a massage is the same thing. We're just okay with that. That's more we've made that normal, right? That becomes part of the norm.
Let's
So if your
start.
girl goes to get a massage, you don't say anything. Oh, she's gonna get a massage, unless it's some guys up in North Jersey that give that massage when they be, doing all the humping and stuff on her. If it
But
ain't that
again,
type
when
of
did this
massage,
start? Were
When
we
did-
together 5 years and then you decided that I needed cuddling
Wait,
and now you're
cuddle.
forcing me to accept something different? Is this a conversation that we bring in the beginning? So I think again, it's communication. Don't be with me
Hey,
20 years
Daryl.
talking about I need to cuddle.
Right.
one sec, go ahead, Leanne. Leanne, go ahead.
Hey, I just want you shoot me the place of the place up in
Yeah,
North.
it's on. It has its own app. It's
Go ahead,
called
shoot that
Cuddler. I'll
me
send
in a
it to
text
you.
message.
It's
No,
called
she's
Cuddler.
talking about the massage, the erotic massage. She ain't
I
talking
don't even
cuddle.
know
She's
about
talking
those massages because sometimes when I would pick Lee up back in the day from the massages, tie all off. He just like lay out, and I'm like,
Hey,
whoa,
you don't
you
massage
gotta
yourself with a
massage
tie
you there,
on.
buddy.
But think about it. So what I'm saying is that you and Terrain, no one, again, I think you women were saying, and all of us are saying, in relationships we grow and we change. We're not the same person we were in the beginning. So you may have grown to learn that I want to be cuddled, right? I want to
Then
be
again,
cuddled.
you communicate
And not
with your
by you.
partner and see
I
if
don't like
that
the way you cuddle.
didn't listen. Then we might need to revisit this relationship and conversation and see if we're both able to provide the things that we need to each
No,
other
no.
in this relationship.
Wait. No. Everything, you can't be all, you guys all say, you can't be all things to someone. There's sometimes certain things that you can cuddle, but I don't want to cuddle with you. I may not want to cuddle with you.
Why?
I may
Why
not want
not
to play
your
that.
mate though?
Wait
Why
a
would
minute,
you
time out.
not want to cuddle with your
Because
mate?
you can't be all things. I may not want to watch a movie with you sometimes. I may not want to go for a walk with you sometimes. Because sometimes we are
Opens the
individuals.
door for so
and
many
we,
other things. I want to ejaculate, but I don't want to do it with you. Do I allow you to go ejaculate with
Oh.
somebody else just because you
Well, wait a minute,
reached this
time out.
new level? It's a
they can
conversation.
masturbate. Wait a minute. They could masturbate. And guess what? I could say, I want to go ejaculate with someone else. It's a conversation. You don't have to do it, but
It's
I
a
may want to feel that
conversation.
way.
I said,
Right.
let's talk about
But
it.
again, if I want to go get cuddled, because there's certain things I don't want to do with you. Now, ejaculating with somebody else, that's another level than me cuddling. We're putting things together that if it's just a cuddle that's not sexual, we're making it more to something it is. And
Even
like,
if it's sexual, to some people, that still wouldn't be cheating, and it's not out of bounds. So that's just a thing of
It's a conversation.
communicating
It's a conversation.
What is and what isn't cheating in your relationship.
well,
Yeah.
first
Like
of all,
Julie said a
Yep.
little while ago,
right.
knowing what the boundaries are in your relationship.
So again, I don't know about boundaries about something that I want for me, right? And I'm gonna say you can say no, right? You can definitely not be in agreement with it. But if this is something that I want, that I feel is, again, because we can look at it differently. If I just want to be cuddled, and I don't know what it is to be cuddled, right? I'm just really actually playing devil's advocate. I don't know what this looks like, because cuddling is usually after or before. I'm just saying. So
Stop lying. You ain't cuddling nobody.
more pushing her out the bed. All right, we're done. No, but I'm saying if you're,
Wow.
I just really wonder if
I'm going to
really
give her this
wonder-
app. I'll send her the app.
I really wonder if cuddling is kind of like getting a massage. I really wonder if it's like
They
that. I
say,
wonder.
they say it's very similar. They do say that. Yes.
Right. So I wonder if, for me, I'm wondering if my girl was like, listen, I want to go get cuddle. And I'd probably like, yeah, because I want to go do something else anyway, play basketball. I need a break from you anyway. But, right.
Wow.
I think it's okay. I wouldn't have a
But
problem
I
with
think
it.
it goes back to giving the person the opportunity to decide what works for them. Because again, as your agenda change and your needs change, you have to be able to communicate that with your partner and allow your partner to say, hey, this works for me or this does not work for me. I can't take away your option to choose what you need for you. But when
Right.
you are in a relationship and you have incorporated another person with that, you then give that person the ability to choose whether or not what your change has been, whether or not they want to submit to your change.
Right. Right. And I mean, right. So everybody has a choice. So if you want to leave me because I want to get cuddled, all right, goodbye. But what I'm saying is that I heard something about like, don't tell me how to dress or something because I can wear what I want to wear. You shouldn't say. I can't remember this conversation. But
Oh,
I don't
boy.
know. I hear us talking about cuddling
Wow.
being an issue or what not to do. But I remember something about that. But that's a whole nother
Again,
topic.
That's a
it's
whole-
not what not to do. It's having a conversation, like she said earlier. It's having a dialogue
Yes.
and both parties being consensual to what the change has been or what each person
And
needs,
why.
and seeing if. Because
Wait a
again,
minute.
I
Wait a
think
minute.
what the other thing that we're not doing is coming back to the table and saying, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what has changed with you? What do you need from me? What do I need from you? And I
agree.
think
But
that
again,
we go into
you-
relationships and think this is it, this is all.
Mhm.
But you're making it about you. If I
No,
want
it's
to do
about
something
us.
different, it has nothing to do about you. No, everything is
Decision
not
that we
to
make
do-
together.
Everything is well. First of all, let's make our mind up, right? Because certain things I heard about, and simple as what we wear, is about us, and it should be what it is. I'm saying if I feel if I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to say, look, I want to cuddle. I don't know.
You
does it-
incorporated another
are you
person.
having this? My question would be: do I have to have this conversation around massages?
Some
Are we having a
couples
sit-down?
might. Some couples
Some
might.
people do. You
Well,
have
again,
to. You
we-
set
yeah,
your tone
we're-
for your
we're-
relationship.
listen, I understand some people may, but I'm saying, is this when people get, so I don't know, in your relationships, did you have to have a conversation about massages? Like, I want to get massage. Is it okay? Can I get a massage? You okay with it? Was that a
Some people
conversation
take
anybody
their
had?
level of communication that far. They really do.
I'm just asking.
So for
did
me,
anybody
it was
have
a
that
conversation. It was
Okay.
a conversation in my
Okay.
relationship.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because I stand on my feet all day. So in communicating the things that is a part of my self-care, massaging is a part of my self-care.
Mhm.
So I
Right.
table and these are the things that I need to maintain my body to continue to make
Right.
money and to grow.
Right.
So
Right.
it depends. I think for me, I
Wait,
am
I'm sorry,
more
can
of
I
a
ask you a
very
question real fast?
transparent.
Okay. I want to ask a question. Was there a conversation or more like, this is what I need?
Mm.
What was it? Was it a conversation to the point where you were talking about you were talking about it for more of a you were asking more like, hey, is this okay if I do? Or you said, listen,
I
this is
think
kind of
that-
what I need.
So in our
I need this.
conversation, it was more. No. I think in our conversation, in our dialogue, it was more so, what do you do for self-care? What are the things that you do to maintain you. And for me, now, if there was an opposing view conversation, but if we're just having dialogue, it actually was a monologue, and I'm giving you what I need for me. Once you object to that, then it becomes the conversation, and it's like, okay, how do you feel about this? But if my partner says, I understand and I'm good with it, it's not a conversation that we need to continue.
Mm-hmm. Right. You again, they have the ability to chime in and say whatever they wanted to say. Now, what do you think would have happened if he was like, I'm really not comfortable with you getting massages? What do you think? I know this is.
I am open to what is your alternative, because I am in a position where I stand on my feet all day. I work all day doing hair. Right. So if you do not like this idea, what is your alternative for how I can get the balance that I need? Because mine is not just relaxation. It's really for medical as well. So if you can't go with how I've been doing this for almost 20 years, I'm open to suggestions on what you would suggest, how I can get the things that I need to make sure that I can continue to build for my family and standing on my feet. Now, if you come up with a great idea, I'm open to exploring it. If you don't come up with nothing, all I know is 20 years this been working for me. So it's not really a conversation at that point. Then I have to make, because it's not just a relaxation. This is about what I need to maintain my family.
Right.
Yeah, needs are very different than wants.
Well, again, so but it goes back. I think I'm kind of on the line with her saying, like, this is what I. Or even if I say, I can do it, because that's what Ruth said, I can do it. Well, these are professional cuddlers, right? It's going to be a different level of cuddle from
maybe not now.
Wait, stop. Thank you. I know I just triggered. Listen, wait, I know, or even massages, right? I can massage you, but a licensed massage therapist is going to be much different than what I do, right?
Because they know the trigger point. They know what I need. They know my targeted.
So if I want to go somewhere and get it done right, I may want to go to a professional masseuse or a professional cuddler or whatever the case may be. Okay. You saying you could do it, it might be a bonus because I can do it with you, but I also want to do it here. And again, it's really, and again, I'm not saying I can't pass judgment because I don't really know. I think I would be fine with it. I think I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't have any problem with it.
Okay. All night, would you be okay with it all night? If your partner wanted it to, some people want to just be held while they go to sleep all night. What about that? If you're okay with it?
You threw something else in there that I didn't know. I know what that part.
No. It goes with it. I just jotted down all the different situations.
So how does it work? I don't know how it works.
Well, you can do 30 minutes. You can do an hour. You can do overnight, which is, again, the people that want to fall asleep while you're holding them and cuddling them. That one's $400. So there are different levels to talk about with your partner.
Okay, so what I need to know is where do I sign up? Do they have applications? Do they have applications?
Yeah, because you can make $100 an hour starting.
I need to know where I can apply for this. Okay, now I know.
Merritt said, "Who's paying for 24 hours?"
Yeah, I need.
Paying for 24 hours. They said $400.
Yes, I need to know who. Listen. This might be the new thing because I want to cuddle for $400.
I might need to take one for the team.
I will say that I don't think I want my partner staying out all night cuddling with somebody.
Why? They're just cuddling.
Don't come to your house to do it.
Because you wouldn't be home. You wouldn't be home then, right?
So what?
So just like a massage lasts an hour.
They can come home to your home.
If a massage lasts all night, that would be a problem. Or anything you're doing lasts all night would be a problem because of the home. That's it. Anything. I don't know anything that you would want someone to do that they're going to be away from the home for all night, right? If I was like, I'm going to play basketball all night, that would still be like, you're going to be all night playing basketball? It's still.
I mean, what if they come home at 2 o'clock in the morning? They were able to take a nap. It satisfied them for that nap time. And then they got up. That's like club hours. They go party at that time. If I can get there at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, take a nap, get cuddled in bed by 2 o'clock. I didn't let the sun beat me home.
So again, if it was something like that, listen, no, if you did like say no different than going out. So if I went out from like 10 to 2 and you got cuddled from 10 to 2 and you come home at like 2:30, that's no different than me going out for the night. I don't think I would trip over that. I wouldn't trip.
Okay.
It's what they need. Like I said, it'd be no different than them going out. So I don't know if I would really trip too much.
Actually, when I proposed it to my husband, he said, we can both be professional cuddlers. I'll meet you back.
Listen,
So what
I
what
said
I
I'm
heard
willing
was,
to take one for the team.
what I heard was, I want to cuddle somebody. And I'm gonna let you know you can do it too, but I know I definitely want to do it. No, it's very interesting. That's very interesting. I would definitely want to look more into it and learn more about.
Really, really popular right now.
Now, is it cuddle? Is it actually parties?
They can do cuddle parties as well, which are small groups. Mm-hmm.
So what does that look like? It's a summer party with a whole bunch of people holding each other?
Yeah, a whole bunch of people holding each other and just relaxing and, intertwined.
This is
And you know what? my concern would be if my partner was cuddling with the same person every day, because cuddling. No, because cuddling helps you form a bond. That the chemical release, it helps you.
I agree.
Oh, does it?
With the person.
Oxytocin is released.
It's a form of bonding. So. Mm-hmm. I mean, it might be a reason for concern.
Wait a minute. No, I have a question then.
Maybe not.
I have a question.
Maybe what?
So would it be different for a masseuse? The real question, like if you get the same masseuse all the time, is it the same for that? Would that also
no? It's not. The same
okay.
hormones aren't released.
Right.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's about the hormones. He's right.
And it's about the closeness and the of it, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And you should see some of these cuddlers.
Oh, they had some pictures?
They had a couple of model-looking cuddlers. It's like, okay, I want to cuddle.
If I pay $400 for a cuddler, I better be able to pick which one I want. Don't just send me anything.
Very interesting. So then that kind of changes it then, right? Right? Because not just a cuddle if you're looking for a certain
That's
look.
a good point.
I get a certain physique because you might want a certain physique, right? You might want someone a little squishier.
Yeah, your body type might not fit with mine.
Body type. I get body type.
That's true.
But as a physical appearance, I mean, that's different because physical appearance, I think you're looking for something different then.
But what if the muscular helps you better?
No, I said body type makes sense. Right. I know body type makes sense. I can get somebody who's more muscular, right?
Big arms.
See, and this is why I think for a guy, I don't know if this works for me because if I want to cuddle with the girl with the big butt, but can I be behind her? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, you can be in any position that the two of you decide on.
Yeah, but can he really be behind her and not expect for him to be excited or want for it to go somewhere else? But who wants to cuddle with a stick?
I would think that the cuddle person, I would think that they have some rules and regulations.
They do have rules and boundaries about it.
I would think they would. And if you make your cuddle person uncomfortable, I'm sure you can't.
They said that they definitely, if you're aroused on either end, they stop and take a break. You got to get yourself together. If you're
hey, put that away. Put it away.
They film it so that they can make sure nothing inappropriate is happening. They have boundaries on body parts that you may not touch. So yeah, there's a contract to it.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So cuddling contract, what you cannot do.
Yep.
You got to take a break.
And filming so you don't get out of hand.
Yes, they have you on film to, that's not appropriate. You're out. Yeah.
And that helps for the safety.
The safety issue
of it as well.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting, I thought. Very.
And the times vary.
Listen, you send me that information because I think I'm about willing to take one for the team. I might have to take one for the team as a whole. $400 for what you said, $100 an hour.
Yes, $100 an hour.
I think it might, and it's recorded, and it's contracts. He might be willing to go for that.
And there are over 70 agreed upon positions you can pick from.
I wish I got to see this position. Because I think of cuddling, I just think of big spoon, little spoon. I don't know what other.
They have many other positions, many.
I am so out of the rap. I just don't know.
So there's always that non-sexual alternative, if you will.
Is there a sexual alternative?
I said there's that non-sexual one. They consider it non-sexual.
Is there one? Can you?
Oh, I don't know. That might be an underground thing. I didn't research that.
I mean, you moving into a whole different line of work.
A whole different.
No, I want to start a place like this, and it's gonna call Cuddle After. Okay.
Cuddle Plus.
I believe that too.
XL, Cuddle XL.
Yeah.
That's what.
Right.
Yes.
Cuddle after dark. It definitely. You leave lighter than you came. Like,
You're
yes,
going to jail.
Exactly. He's going to
Pimping
jail
out the
happy, but
colors.
he's going to jail.
So,
Pimping out the colors.
one question about that. Did you see anything about where it went wrong, where cuddling, the issues with it, like people who maybe stepped out of bounds or anything? Did you see anything?
No, the only thing I did see was people that got aroused accidentally and they had to take the breaks and, you know, get yourself together to resume. That's a human response.
Listen,
so it happens.
I'm going home after I got aroused. I'll be embarrassed. She's like, hey, listen.
Well, they said no, they don't act like it's a big deal because it's a human response.
Yeah, but it's a natural thing. Even a man getting a massage, he can be aroused because there's sensualities in certain parts that you touch in the body that naturally it will happen.
I don't know.
And you don't make a big deal about it. So I'm also a massage therapist. So those things do happen naturally, and you don't necessarily have to be in that area for them to be aroused. Is a natural body is a function that naturally happens.
Everything. Listen, so, but I'm saying, I don't know, as a man, I mean, I got massage and stuff before, I haven't got aroused, because usually, for me, and I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, I'm only going to get aroused if there's a reason to. Like, you just touch me enough, I would have to be already in my head like, I want that.
But some people also lack physical touch. So there are people who get massages that don't necessarily have physical touch without it being sexualized, that the physical touch may arouse them. Or some people are naturally sensitive to touch.
Right. And I'm talking about, I think there are people, I'm saying for me, and I can't speak for everybody else, I'm saying usually if I'm aroused, it's because I want something more already. So I wonder with the cuddling, if these people are going in there, or they're just maybe attracted to the person they're with, and that's what's happening, or is it just a natural thing where they're just like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know why you get aroused by cuddling unless you want more. Cause that'd be a waste of it. That's a waste of arousal. You know, outside of like
wow.
I think it's like naturally a natural body function. If you have a woman brushed up against you with a big booty Judy, you're going to tell me, even if you weren't.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you because if I don't want you, I don't want you. I don't care what big booty you have. You can rub it up what you want. I don't want you, so it's not going to happen. So usually it happens, and I know for me, since I danced all my life, right, and I used to dance all the time, and we would dance like the girl in that joint in the room with she had her legs out.
Oh my God.
Right, that's a normal way of dance for me. And when I dance, I haven't ever got aroused, right? Because it wasn't sexual to me. It was a dance. It's a performance. So I wasn't dancing with the girl for a sexual nature. It was more of a show, but put on a show, yada, 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 yada. But I know some guys do get aroused, but that's because the mind frame they're in, right? So just because you're rubbing up against me doesn't mean I'm going to jump up, right? It doesn't work that way. I
get. So like you're saying, if you're already attracted to the person,
right, like, there's something more, right?
It just reminds me of that show that Wyclef with Shakira, and they were dancing on the stage, and he was totally aroused, and people kept playing it over and over a lot.
I missed that one.
See, but I can understand that. She's a beautiful woman. She's moving, and he was playing the guitar like. Shakira.
Poor guy.
But I just want to put it out there. Men don't just get aroused for anything. Some do, but most men don't just get aroused because you're in the room. Because, I mean, you have to. We're not all attracted to all of you. All women don't just get us aroused because you're in the room. Just because you brushed up against us doesn't mean anything's going to happen. Please don't. That's the women's ego again.
That's good
Put
to
ego
know.
down some.
Drop
ego a little bit.
All right.
So, just
we'll drop it a little bit
that way. Right. So, but anyway, so it was very interesting. Hey, we went over tonight. We're going to continue this. We're not talking in circles. We're going to continue this show next week because we have a lot more things about sex. But again, we're talking about things surrounding sex. Somehow we got here. I don't know how we got drippers.
It's all good.
Did you? I know I missed a lot.
Wipey.
Did you guys talk about sex and mental health?
No,
No,
Okay.
we didn't get to
So-
that yet.
like I said, we will.
Mhm.
We will. That could be something next week, right? We started talking about diseases. I don't know how we got here. I mean, I know somebody had a tree growing out the penis. I don't know what's going on, right? I just learned a lot.
No, what
tonight.
happened? It went from diseases to pH balance to dripping. I could tell you how it went.
L wants the erotic massage hookup. I mean, there's a lot that happened.
Just make sure you send that over. Okay.
I'm gonna send it to
Give me a
all of you.
check.
I am definitely sending that over. We're
Ruth,
all
she
gonna
doesn't-
be there before it's over.
No, Ruth, you're talking about the cuddling party. She said the erotic massage.
Oh, I was talking about the cuddling. Oh,
Ruth, that's what I'm saying. Roger, you like, we're going to get him. And Roger said it didn't be a problem. Like, oh, you want one of the massages, huh? This is what I'm talking about. You ain't going to be on the show no more. So I
it'll
don't
be
want you to
another
get in trouble.
combo. Another combo.
Hey, but let's get a real quick last words for everybody. Hey, Ruth, what we got?
On the topic of sex, okay. We're gonna talk more, like we said, next week. So let's be responsible in it as much as we can. Let's keep the communication lines open with our partners, significant others, so that everybody's on the same page. And go get your checkups, folks. Make sure you're okay.
There we go. Terrain, what you got? We can't hear you. Terrain. For some reason, we can't hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now. Go ahead.
Open communication, open dialogue, understanding yourself and the things that you need for yourself, but also being able to articulate it, doing enough research as much as you possibly can. If you're in the fluid state of dating and want to just, have sex, but just doing enough education and protect yourself.
There we go.
Mhm.
Lee, what you got?
Do it as much as possible.
Do
It's a great stress reliever.
Okay.
Make sure you using good hygiene
Yes.
and make sure you're protecting yourself. That's it.
Hey, Doc, what you got, Doc?
I think you guys said it all. Just be responsible. That's all. Be responsible.
Yes, be responsible. So what I learned today is let them take showers afterwards. Don't just kick them out and get them an Uber. So, fellas, don't just, let them at least take a shower, a bird bath at least, right? A little bird bath. Hey, and they're walking around dripping. We didn't know y'all was walking around dripping. Gotta be uncomfortable. No, but again, be safe. I think if you can't talk about sex with whomever you're with, you don't need to be having sex with them. So you can't talk about your past and not even your past, but like your hygiene, your doctors and things like that. You guys can't talk about those type of things. Then don't have sex with that person, right? You need at least be able to talk about it before you're doing it. All right. I mean, sex is great. It's a good thing, but it's a lot of responsibilities that come with it. And I think we speed past the responsible part, and we just get to doing it. Get to doing it is fun, like Leanne said, have a lot of it, but be responsible. I don't want a tree growing out your penis. With that being said, hey, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for the comments. Again, next week, if you guys want to join in, you can definitely call in through our Zoom link. If you need the link, we'll get it to you. You can see us on Nothing But Answers on YouTube, Nothing But Answers on the Facebook group. The Facebook group is really growing. I think we're like 208. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for all the comments. We're really learning a lot from each other. It's really a great group, a safe space. No one's harassing you about your comments. All comments and answers are welcome. But again, we thank you. Any ideas or topics you guys have, please inbox one of us, and we will see you next week.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes, please, everybody. Please go to the YouTube channel and give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you can actually watch over there as well. This program is broadcast over there as well. But thank you guys. Have a good night. We love the communication. We love you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Good night,
everybody.
Bye.
We're throw out some sexy music for y'all. There it is.